young singer named Justin Moore.
We don't do a whole lot of bullshitting up here. We just get up here and play country music.
The Justin Moore Podcast is sponsored by Bobcat. Visit them at bobcat.com.
Hey, check 1, 2. It's working.
Hopefully.
We have power,
Maybe.
ladies and gentlemen. What's up, everybody out there in podcast land? This your old buddy, old pal, JR the Handler. And I'm here today, as always, with my brother, Arkansas's favorite country singing cowboy, Mr. Justin Moore, on his own podcast, The Justin Moore Podcast. What's going on, JM?
What's up, buddy? What's up, everybody out there? I hope you're well. You're going to have to forgive me because my smoke detector just started going off, so that's fantastic.
Hey,
so that's going to chirp through this entire podcast because
Hey,
I got to go get a ladder.
Good thing is we had a little practice with this recently because of our fine friends and sponsors over at Batteries Plus sent us a bunch of stuff a couple weeks ago, and we had I know you and Kate were changing a few in the main house in the hallway, so y'all at least y'all are a little hearsed up for this event.
I got plenty of batteries.
Plenty.
It just started, so
And I've got the C's and
sorry
D's
about
to bring
that,
you
but-
this weekend, so you can change all the South little monster trucks and all the girls' little
Beautiful.
houses that make noise. Thank you, Batteries Plus, but I mean, the local Walmart's going to be disappointed because I'll never have to go buy batteries again.
yeah.
Thank you, guys.
Good night. Yeah, they sent, thousands of batteries. I don't know. I mean, it was a ton.
You'd
But
be
we
surprised
appreciate it.
what you can order off Batteries Plus too, because I put together a few things for some of the band and crew and drivers to get off our wish list when they sent us all of that stuff. And check out batteriesplus.com, y'all, because I'm serious. You'd be surprised what they got and the prices on stuff and their shipping method, the way they use it. It's really, if you need battery stuff, I'd go to them. I was even talking to my brother. They have solar panels. They have solar power banks. They have generator starters. Our bus driver Eddie was telling us how he got the little jump starter pack that's I don't know, as big as
those are awesome. Those come in handy, man.
and it isn't that big, but he said it jumped off the generator on the bus, a big diesel generator like that. It jumped it off like nothing.
Oh, wow.
From a cold start.
I didn't hear him say that.
And that thing's got to be the size of a good sized sandwich maybe. I mean, it's not that big or anything.
Yeah,
you know?
they're not that big.
No, and it's got USB-C plugs on them now, and all that stuff, a flashlight. So they're very cool. But anyway, check out Batteries Plus. Appreciate y'all, and Jay, I'm going to get to work on that. Before we get too far into the show, I want to give a shout-out. Today, we're recording this is May 31st, and today in 1938, one of our favorite outlaw country, traditional country songwriters, singers ever was born in Greenfield, Ohio. Mr. Johnny Paycheck was born this day in 1938. So I want to say a happy birthday to him.
So
and then
how old did that make him?
Gosh, it would have been
Golly.
9.
God, would that make him
80.
almost 90?
Well, we're bad at math, huh? 23.
Boy, yeah, this is embarrassing.
Yeah, right.
Well, no, let's say, yeah. I mean, mid-80s.
Yeah, 85. 85.
Yeah.
That's right. Yeah, 85.
We weren't that far off.
It took us a minute. Hey, now with these phones, that's what I always worry about, everybody. Because we used to have to do that. Now you're so used to,
That, and don't nobody know anybody's phone number by heart. If you get in a bind, you're screwed.
I've got like.
I mean, I remember phone numbers, like all my friends and family, and their home numbers though.
Yeah.
Like cell phone numbers, I know a few, but not many. We've made the girls memorize mine and Kate.
You should.
So we're like, you got to know ours.
Yeah.
If nobody else's,
Right. Yeah, I've had to memorize. I didn't memorize any for years because I had the ones that I had in my bank of memory from a kid. I can still remember my grandmother's house number.
Yeah.
She's had a cell phone for a long time, so I remember that. My mom's number, my brother's. My dad, no, because he changed phones and houses. But, I remember my the lake house where I grew up. I remember that, 857-2205. I'll never forget that. Before you even had to put, or back then you had to put area code in. But I had to learn Sharice's because I thought, yeah, if we get in a bind, I don't have it. I'm just used to, from when we were dating. It was programmed in there from day one. So, also born on this day in 1954, someone who we both know, born in Detroit, Michigan. Steel guitar aficionado himself, Mr. Paul Franklin.
Oh, wow.
Was born
Didn't
today.
know that either.
Yep. We'll give him a shout out. Kinds of cool facts about today on here.
I think, if I'm not mistaken, is it Clint Eastwood's also, or am I making that up?
I just have a list of country music stuff, so I don't have just every folks. Did y'all talk?
Up.
Yeah, I know y'all do that.
Yeah,
I like that about.
Seems like we talked about that this morning.
I bet y'all did. The radio show. I love when how y'all do that. Get them all in, gives you something to talk about. I always think that's pretty cool.
Yep. He's he's 93 today,
and it seems like I just saw him in a movie, and he was fantastic as always.
He is. I mean, he looks like an old man because he's an old man, but he don't look really 93. He don't look feeble, and
no, he still gets around pretty good. Tell you, I mentioned to you and Kate and some of y'all about the movie The Man Called Otto. Everybody needs to go watch that movie. That's a great movie. We'll put that. That's Tom Hanks, another one that seems like he's about the same as always.
Did I tell you what happened with that?
You
and I discussed it, and I was looking forward to seeing it. We haven't yet. And on the radio show, Roger told me what happens at the end. I'm like, whoa, not cool. I'm like, golly. And so, I mean, I still want to see it, but like,
there's so many turns.
I'm much less excited about it now than I was.
Unless he goes through each one and tells you how they lead up to it, it all doesn't really impact unless you go through.
Excuse me.
Get you.
Yeah, no. There was no other specifics.
No, you'll still love it because there's so many turns. It leads to it. It seems like it's going this way and this, and it's just a very heartwarming. Makes you take a look inside and a look around at the same time. It's just a really good movie. But we're talking about.
He's so good too, man. I mean, I don't know that he's done any movie that I didn't like. To be honest with you, I mean, he's just.
I don't know.
He's
all
about
solid.
As good as it gets.
Yep. For sure. Talking about that, you want to just go ahead and jump into some Q&A? We had a guest lined up for today, but unfortunately he's got children too and family first around here at the JMP, so he had to bounce on us today, so we're going to have him in a few weeks. We'll give you all an update on that who it is when we get him locked in and on. I think you guys are going to love it if you if you love 90s country or country in general. You get my drift. But I had some good Q&A that people have sent in using the hashtag Justin Moore Podcast, either to the Justin Moore Podcast Instagram page or directly to me or Justin at justinmooremusic.com, at jrthehandler.com, or excuse me, at Justin Cole Moore.
Yep, that's it.
It's justinmooremusic.com. You can find all the links to it right there, though. A lot of practice. But Kyle Moore sent in a picture of his phone. I guess he was listening to Outlaws Like Me. He said, "Can we get this at the Lampy show?" That's a Missouri amphitheater we're going to do coming up in a month or so.
Yeah, Lampy, Missouri. Yeah, let me see if I can work that in, Kyle. Thank you for knowing it, man. I appreciate it. That was, I think it was our second album, if I'm not mistaken. So that one's old.
Is that the one you've said, I've heard you say, and you've told me, is that one of your favorite songs you ever wrote?
Yeah, Outlaws Like Me, yeah, it was. It was, I wrote that when we got, we had success with the first album, and, we were experiencing fame and a little bit of money and the whole thing, but it was coming fast, and furious, and sometimes when that happens, you look in the mirror and you don't really like what you see, and so that was kind of just a song we came up with around that time to kind of as a metaphor for that kind of period in your life, so to speak,
Not unlike Stray Dog Now or Till My Last Day when the kids were coming up.
Yeah, I think as a songwriter, I think you kind of just draw from whatever you're going through at the time, personal experiences, and so but fortunately, those days are long gone.
Yeah, right. On to the next 30.
Now we're doing the love songs and all that stuff.
Right. Well, McGraw wrote it. My next 30 years. There are stages in evolution. Yep. We can't all stay the same person forever. I think about that sometimes when, you hear young people. And unfortunately, we're not really young people anymore. We're right there stuck in the middle. But that are writing and could get frustrated or overconfident, one extreme or the other, about what they're writing at that time. And you always got to think, man, if you're young, just keep writing. That's what I want to say. If you're going to write a bunch of bad ones, I've read and watched and listened to more songwriter stuff from every genre, and that's the number one thing they're all going to say. Just keep writing. The first ones are going to be bad. Just keep writing, and that kind of stuff. And you're going through those experiences, it's going to give you more ways to look at stuff. So that's just to get, unless you're one of these. There are rare examples when you talk about it, and then people are going to say, well, what about a Dean Dillon? He was young, or a Johnny Paycheck, or a Jones, or a Hank Williams. Well, we're talking about two different worlds. Then you're talking about did you hitchhike across the country to go try to get a job? And you had some those guys at 16 had some life experiences. There's different people for different
earlier
stuff.
On, than we did. And so it's I couldn't tell you the amount of horrible songs that I've written. I mean, just awful. It makes you cringe to think about, know, and everybody has.
All of them, every one of them.
The greatest of the greatest have.
Yep.
And so, anything you do over time, I think you probably should get better at it. You're probably, I'm sure you would agree, a better tour manager today than you were 15 years ago or whatever,
100%.
And so I was doing an interview earlier, actually in the UK, which was random.
Shout out across the pond fans. Appreciate y'all.
It was good. And so I did a couple of them actually over there. And so I was kind of explaining that same thing. I get, how's your music evolved? And I said, well, I'm a lot older now. I'm married. I have 4 kids, and I'm almost 40 instead of 22, 3, now.
Right.
And so that just changes you. But I went on to say what I just said. I think the longer you do something, especially when it has to do with creative stuff like we do, if you're an artist or a writer or whatever, I think you learn more what you want. You go into your career going, I want to be this type of artist and say this and talk about this. And the older you get and the more experience, to your point, you have, life experience, you maybe want to change that story a little bit. And I just always tell people, as far as writers go, young writers, and I've learned this through my career, the more personal it is to you, if you've gone through it, good, bad, and different, somebody else has too. A lot of somebody else's have. So
absolutely,
I draw from your own personal life, whatever that is. I mean, it could be anything,
Yeah, if you're a potato farmer, I bet you got some good potato farming songs. You know what I mean? If you work in a steel mill, you got a good steel mill song. You know what I mean, in you. And that kind of leads. Thanks for the question and sending that in, Kyle. Appreciate it. That kind of leads into the next when I got here, and it's about. I was thinking along the same lines. It's kind of like the evolution of your sound, even voice. The kind of music you put around stuff, the level of production, all that stuff, all acts go through that. And it's same with that too. Anyone, it's like when I met you, you were halfway through you were several years in, 3 albums in, you were already well into your career, and the records I've been a part of, listening to and been around you with since then, it's the same as the early ones, but your voice is a little different because you're 15 years older. You know what I mean? It's just part of that. And the sound of what you're hearing in your inner ear when you're with producer working on stuff and things like that. And I know, another thing when young artists I talk to, I said same thing on that. Just keep doing it. You're gonna find it. You're gonna find it. I said it. I said it a year or two ago when Muscadine Bloodline put out the 16th Avenue record. They finally that's it. That's it. They found it. Boom. That's it. You found it. Well, I was listening to and it goes into another one here. When we talk about not hearing music and listening to certain things, not because we don't like it or want to or like the people and stuff. I just listened to Party's Mr. Saturday Night record that was been out for a couple of years, won award. I've listened to a couple here and there. A song would come on, but it's the first time I've listened to the album all the way through. And after a couple of years after, that's one of my buddies, but with him, I was with John for 3 or 4 records that, it was similar to what it is. When it finally all hooked together, boom, there it was. And then it started working. Yeah. You know what I mean? So it's,
and it's a lot of timing. Yeah. I mean, with our business, and that means timing when you figure it out and you finally have the support you need.
Right.
It's
different for everybody.
Lot of things. Yeah.
Like Jamie Johnson put out 2, and the first one never even got put out on major stuff. It was on an indie thing, and then the second one didn't do much. Then the third one was Grammys. Kind of same with Stapleton. Put a couple. Then you got some that come out like Combs.
Gangbusters.
First one's got so it's just all different ways. It takes all kinds for sure. But that leads into
and
the
everybody's got their own path. Career path and ups and downs, and everybody's been through all of the above.
We talked about that. So, what if you're a singer, a dancer, entertainer? What you strong suit? You're a stronger writer. The mixture that gets you to where you need to go.
Yep.
Jim Burke writes in, hey, JR, great to see the podcast back. I think y'all's crazy schedule, an episode a month will be just fine. I'm loving the new album and think it's some of JM's best work yet. I've been a fan of Justin since 2010, and it's been really cool seeing how his sound has matured over the years. Thought I'd ask, have y'all ever heard of Jesse Daniel? I saw him in Portland and became an instant fan after hearing him on the Converse Cowboy podcast. He's from Northern Cal and super knowledgeable about the Bakersfield sound. And my dad's favorite, Buck Owens. How can you not like a kid who says his favorite book is Buckham? That is a good book. Anyway, he's got a very traditional sound y'all might like. Here's an acoustic version of my favorite song called Clayton Was a Cowboy. Love y'all. Keep doing what you're doing. It's appreciated, Jim Burke. I have heard of Jesse Daniel. I need to dive. He's on my list of people to dive into. I actually was listening to a podcast yesterday. The Outlaw Country Music podcast had Corey Cross on there, and he was talking about Jesse Daniel, and they both did live albums recently, so I want to check both of those out. So I haven't yet, Jim, but I'm gonna.
Thank you, first of all, Jim, for the kind words. And I have not heard of him, but that is not a knock against him. I'm sure he's fantastic. I would love to. JR knows. I don't know nothing.
Yep. Well, I mean, and
with
usually
4
I'm
kids,
the one.
Man, I don't have time to do anything.
Well, like
for
I did,
myself.
Right.
So,
well, like I was just saying. I mean, I just listened to Party's record from 2 years ago today.
Yeah.
I'm good about trying to give you stuff that I think you would like from time to time. And I have my guys like Ben and them on the Outlaw Country Music podcast, and my buddy Cody Ox out in Texas, and I got different people that Jim up in Boston. At the Boots and Whiskey podcast, people that send me stuff that are coming through to make sure I'm aware of it because they know what we kind of like and are looking for, and so I kind of go through that, and then. But even when they send me stuff, it might take me a while. I mean, my buddy Caleb King over in Georgia sent me a new song he's working on, and I love everything he sends me. and I was a week ago. I still ain't got to it, but so sorry if you listen to this, Caleb. I'm gonna text you back too. I try to give stuff. So we do hear new stuff from time to time. I know we talked about Jake Worthington. We listened to his new record a couple weeks ago, or months ago now. And then recently, you and I both listened to Drew Parker's new EP.
Yep.
He put out a couple songs off it are already out.
So yeah, I definitely need to. That's a good recommendation though, the Jesse, because I'll, my favorite artist is Dwight Yoakam, whose favorite artist was Buck Owens. That whole Bakersfield sound I love, so I'm sure I would like it.
Yeah, that's what the Corey Cross guy. He's he's a Fort Worth based singer songwriter, and got a good band, and that's what he was talking about. He's a little younger than us, but in our same range. He was talking about how back in the day you used to get the CDs, and you listen to the song and you're going through. It was like a little mini comic book. You're going through and there's pictures of the band and the songs and the lyrics and how they're wrote. But he, a lot like us, he found the music that he likes by listening to some and then going and seeing who they like, and because someone would mention someone in a song, and then he'd go find, why is George Strait mentioning Bob Wills, or whoever it was, and go back and find them that way. So a lot of times it usually leads to something.
You mentioned a couple of live albums. There used to be, I'm sure you remember, but there used to be, heck, we did it actually early in my career, a show called, I think it was The Road or On the Road or something like that, where it was like I can't remember if it was a countdown show. I don't think it was countdown. I think it was just a syndicated show that would play, whatever stations picked it up. And it was live cuts from The Road. And I loved that.
Yeah.
And that turned me on a long time ago. That turned me on to a lot of music because I loved hearing how the production maybe was a little different, or the arrangement was a little different, or how the artist sang it a little different. And then I loved the crowd interaction, which they, my point is, there were more ways it seemed back then to listen to music, but that's just me being an old fart, and because there's got to be more ways now to discover music than there were then.
Yeah.
But I was thinking back then though, like you said, you had the album booklets and that kind of stuff, and I guess you can get that digitally now, but I don't know, it's just not the same.
Yeah.
I don't know, it doesn't feel like, but yeah, I love live versions. If anybody who maybe hasn't listened to much live stuff, go check out any live album anybody does, because it's just a whole different vibe.
Yeah.
And you might go, hey, I didn't know so-and-so was that good live. I need to go see him or her or whatever.
Right.
I did that back then. I'm like, well, I wasn't really into him or her. And then I hear, them doing something live, and I go, actually, that was cool. That was the lick or that thing they sang, or I don't know, whatever. But
I'll tell you a good one, and again on the Outlaw Country Music Podcast, Corey Cross mentioned this also, and I thought we're thinking on the same path. The Billy Bob's Live at Billy Bob's series. Most everyone has done a Live at Billy Bob's album, and those are great. They go back.
They're great quality,
and they're from back in the day, and it's a rowdy Billy Bob's crowd. And, Tracy Lawrence just did one.
Did he really?
A month ago
from Billy Bob's?
At Billy Bob's, yeah. I don't know if it's out yet. It may have came out yet. I should know this.
I didn't know that.
Sorry, TL. But Tracy just did one, and it's good. He's he's rocking, baby. Strut that
we
ass,
did.
Tracy.
we did one at the Ryman.
Yes.
I don't know, 4, 5, 6 years ago, whatever it is now.
18 or 19. 18, I think.
What's it called? I was thinking I had maybe I don't. Maybe it's just called Live at the Ryman. Hell, I don't know. I don't even know my own music.
Right.
That's how bad I am. But man, it was a blast to do. But I know a lot of times what they do is you record like 2 nights in a row, and then you mix and match. We only had one night to get that, so we were kind of holding our breath going, I don't know, maybe we'll get it, maybe we won't. But the people who did that did a great job, and our crew did a great job. But you're back to your original point about the Billy Bob's one. They were all good, man. Mm-hmm. Like I had a lot of those albums, and I know you did too. David Allan Coe was one of my favorites.
Merle Haggard,
he had one there. Haggard.
For me, Jason Boland, the Stragglers got a really good one from there. Pat Green's got a really good one. I mean, hell, all of them.
They're all really good quality. Good. I tell you, but as many Hank Jr. albums as I've had and bought and listened to, all of them pretty much. One of my favorite albums of his is Hank Live.
Hank Live.
From like, I don't know, what was that, mid-90s, late 90s? I don't know.
Yeah.
But, man, it was so good. But my point is, all the stuff he says in between songs and the way it was just, I don't know.
And the
there's
crowd.
More personality in it.
Yeah, in the crowd. You can hear what they're saying in the crowd, like on Waylon Live, one of my favorite lives of all time. Before one song, you can hear
that was the Billy Bob's too, wasn't it?
Not that one. Not that one.
Okay.
The Waylon Live one. No, this was I can't remember where they recorded that. I need to check that out. I don't think it was
some
Billy
reason
Bob's, though. But you can hear a guy in the background right before he's starting. It kind of gets to a slow part. He's just thrumming through. Go get him, Waylon.
Yeah,
and it's like I love
really
that
cool
part.
stuff.
It just fires me up. I'm like, that's me in the crowd. Go get him, Waylon.
Yeah.
Hey, just tell the crowd, how excited was I telling you about how excited I was for seeing Hank Jr. the other week or last week?
Gosh.
Have you ever seen me so excited to tell you a story?
No. First of all, you sent me not that I minded, I loved it, but it just to prove the point. I think you sent me
65 pictures and videos.
Like 10 or 12 photos and videos, and I'm talking selfies of himself with Hank in the back, and I'm like, all. But it
was awesome.
Yeah, but correct me if I'm wrong, but you were like, man, I bawled like a baby the first 4 or 5 songs. I was so emotional.
I didn't even try to wipe the tears back either. I just was living.
You've probably seen him 30 times or something in your life.
I met him, stood beside him, touched him, all that. It's still, I'm just like, but it's different when the man's right. I'm 6 rows in, 6 rows back, dead center.
Yeah.
And he is on, baby. And I mean, just everything he said, everything he did was just, the band was killing it.
It was funny. I just imagine, I'm like, JR has been in his goodies.
Oh, yeah.
He's got his mix just right.
Oh, yeah.
Speaking of getting your mixture right, he's not fighting with his wife.
Right.
Everything is. He's around his brother and his mom and the nephew. I'm like, everything is like perfect in his world right now.
Yes.
And when you told me that you were like, I didn't know what else to do. I just cried for like 5 songs.
I just kind of bounced up and down like this and just let the tears flow. I just was smiling. I was so happy. So happy.
What was it like? I forget. It was a holiday, wasn't it? Or no? Am I making it? No, it was somebody's birthday or something.
It was my mom's birthday.
Okay, that's what it was.
Yeah, and yeah, I mean he killed it. Are you ready for Nathan, our assistant tour manager, and did the intro. Paul's guitar taking for him. So I'm like, Team JM is
I forgot about Paul doing that. Yeah.
Team JM is representing down here in Tampa at the Bocephus show. You know it. And
that's cool, man.
And then he comes out and Hank's just standing there. And just so cool. Then they give him a guitar. He's got the huge icon. All right, the biggest strap I ever seen in my life just says icon. Yeah. And I'm like, you damn right you are, Bocephus.
Almost looked like a wrestling belt.
It was the world championship.
It was that,
being the greatest
you know what I mean?
music artist of all time belt.
And that's the way he throws it over his shoulder.
Yeah, he just slings it over.
He wears his guitar totally different than anybody any of the rest of us have ever done it.
Yeah, I don't know.
Which,
anybody.
I mean, he should. He's Bocephus.
Right.
But I would feel like it was going to fall off my shoulder. It would give me, you know me, I'm like so OCD. It would give me anxiety. So if, you guys probably know who's listened to this podcast, but normally, you know, you throw it over your head, almost like a seatbelt would be. You know, that's kind of the way you wear a guitar. Not him. He just hangs it on his right shoulder.
He puts it right over the right shoulder like this. He said it so he can take it off quick because he used to play multiple instruments in his show, so that way he could get it off quick to go play piano or play drums.
That would give me so much anxiety that I was about to drop.
You know, old Bocephus got them broad shoulders. He's got a mighty heavy load.
He does. He does. Can you tell him the intro to the
part that where I lost it?
Yeah.
Oh yeah. So I mean, it's building. It's building. It's just like it takes me back. It was almost like a flashback of my college days when you go see, for all you party people out there, when you used to go see one of the jam bands like Panic or Fish or something like that, or The Dead or something like that. And you know, when you're having a real good time and you're euphoric high, and you're building and building, and the songs are building and building and building and building, and you're about to blow up, and then you finally blow up, and it's all working just right. Well, for me, that it was there without any special extracurricular help from those said jam band shows. Just a little natural California buzz, and he built every song. Just seemed like it just was just a banger, and it was a builder, and it was just building. And they were teasing the lights and the stuff. I mean, it was building as well. You know, they had a lot of production there. They didn't have it all going just to start the show. It built, and then he goes into this spiel about. I wish I had it written down, but 11. Emmys, 9 Super Bowls, 40 million viewers a week. I wrote the fucking song, and then he kicked off into the Monday Night Football song. I lost my mind. I mean, it was perfect. His lead up, his spiel to, he's like, I wrote the effing song, and then it kicked off, and it was just, I mean, I blew up. It was it. That was peak. And then after I started coming down off of that, it was like, all right, let's get a beer, bathroom. Everybody's starting to fade. I was like, he's only, he's 2/3 way through the set now. I'm like, well, we're going to bounce. And, I have seen him a bunch. And Teresa just saw him the week before. My mom and her husband had been up early with my nephew. My brother had been up early. So they're all tired. They're not late night people like me. So we bounced out.
And the thing is, people wonder why, like, that's one of my heroes in music. I mean, top 2, 3. Mm-hmm. And like, people wondered early in my career why I'm, cursing on stage a little much, and this, I don't do that anymore. I think I say one cuss word the whole show, because now I look out and there's little girls and I'm like, I'm getting soft, man.
Right.
But you're talking about growing up earlier, changing, but that's why early on in my career I was a wild animal.
Yeah.
On stage, I went out there to dominate. Mm-hmm. I'm climbing shit, and I remember one time. Yeah, my first tour was with him, and that's who I learned from. That was my influence. So you're trying to do all that stuff, and you go out there and you have as much bravado as you can, so that you're, Anyway, so it's funny how we get down rabbit holes in this. There's the door. On this podcast, but it's one of the funnest things about it is, something triggers something, then we go down this way, and it reminds me, there was a fair I played in, I think it was before you and I were working together, but there was this fair, probably, this was probably 09, something like that, 10 maybe. We played this fair, I think it was in Ohio, if I'm not mistaken. And Ohio's always been really good to us. And I mean, you're talking like wild crowds, and like in a good way, like great,
Yeah, Ohio, real good.
And but it was one of those, and I feel like they used to do this more back then. Maybe it's changed. It feels like it has, at least. Or maybe we're just playing different venues. I don't know. But back then, there were certain promoters or buyers of these shows, in particular some fairs, they would not allow them to stand up.
Oh, yeah.
They just wouldn't allow them to stand
Had to
up.
see it.
And then they would tell me, you can't tell them to stand up.
Yeah.
Well, what am I going to do if you tell me that back in when I'm 25 and I've just had 2 or 3 big hit records in a row?
Right.
That's going to be the first damn thing I tell them to do. You know what I mean? So, long story short, I mean, there's many of examples of this.
That reminds me of what I'll have to tell it.
I've got many examples of this, as you probably wouldn't be surprised by. But anyway, I get back home that next the Sunday or Monday or whatever, and well, I had told them to stand up. All these people stand up in their chairs. And ended up breaking all these chairs. I'm talking thousands of chairs that are destroyed. And they blame it on me. And I think I went out in the crowd. I mean, it was just all the ridiculous, antics you could do.
Oh, yeah.
So over the top. And, I mean, for over a year, they wanted me to pay them for all them chairs. And they're going, like, Pete's calling me, my manager. You know that, but the fans don't. And he's like, man, what are we going to do about this? I go, we're not going to do a damn thing about it. We ain't going to get booked there again, I'm sure. But,
yeah.
I mean, what do they want me to do?
Right.
But anyway, those kind of things happen because that's who I watched was Bo Cephas.
Right.
I wrote the effing song.
I wrote the effing song, yeah. It's take his shirt
all
off.
All I did was get him to stand up.
Yeah. I mean, that's why I take my shirt off when I'm drunk, because that's what I see Bo Cephas having the most fun. His shirt ain't on.
Yeah.
So I see a picture of Kenny Stabler and Hank Jr. Hanging out somewhere. Guess what? Shirt's not on. Guess what?
It's coming off.
And then you influenced too, because then I can remember when we were working when I was with John Party and we were out on tour with you. We had done shows with you already, and then we had a one-off that was like a fair somewhere. Same situation, all a bunch of white lawn chairs out there. Want everybody sitting.
Yep.
No pit area, no standing room in the front, and we'd already done a bunch of shows with y'all. I think we had a fly date, and y'all had your bus there with the fridge on the outside. So Joey's like, y'all have some beers, and we're like, okay. We drank all y'all's beer up. But we're on stage, and I'm standing there side stage with you and Joey.
Specifically remember this.
Yeah, I'm standing side stage with you and Joey, and everybody's in their seats, and he's like you were when you were just talking about he was young and trying to do whatever he had to do he's like,
yeah, you got to get some attention,
he's
man.
Like, oh, y'all get out your goddamn lawn chairs now. It's time to party now. Come on. And he's walking down, and he's like, hey, girl, what's going on?
Shut
You
up,
look
little
good.
kid.
You get up. You party too. Come on. Hey, y'all over there. Y'all can party. Come on. Everybody get up. Get out your damn chairs now.
Yeah.
And then it was funny because later on, I
like
think you even said, all right, what y'all doing back here? Y'all heard John, get out your damn chairs. Time to party. Now don't sit back down. Let's go. And they were mad at us. They were mad at John for doing it.
Oh,
I'm sure they were mad.
Say
I
something
didn't know,
like,
I didn't,
shut up,
I
little kid.
Back then, I wasn't
that.
even involved in meetings really to tell him not to tell things like that. I knew at our normal shows we had a pit. I didn't have to ever tell. We hadn't headlined any fairs at that point where they had telling me you had to sit and stuff. So I didn't know. I didn't know to tell him not to tell him. He had watched you at other shows. Said everybody who's willing, stand up. We're going to do this for whatever type of song it was. And he was walking. He's like, this is boring. Everybody get out the damn lawn chairs now. Hey girl, what's going on? You look good.
Yeah, didn't he even say something like, "Shut up, little kid"?
That was at a meet and greet one time. Shut up, get out of here, little kid. It was hilarious. Hilarious. Hey, that's why I say.
But hey, I mean, your hero with your position, he was the world's. He was He was more flamboyant and was pumping people up more than anybody who's ever done that job.
Yeah, you're right.
I mean, so. Merle Kilgore.
Absolutely, Merle Kilgore. Yeah, that's why. I mean, that's why I always try to, I don't wear show blacks. I dress up. It's,
Yeah.
I try to do the Merle thing. I try to be, hell, I'm grumpy most of the time, but I try to come to life when it's time to be around people as much as I can.
Yeah. Oh yeah. So
But
anyway,
it's, but I'm passionate about it and I love it.
It's funny.
And that's because, liking the sound, and then another thing, talking about the podcast I listened to yesterday, then you look and you see it and you put the visual with the sounds, and it's just a whole thing. Like listening to Hank and Merle's badass enough, and then you see a show of them up there live at Us Fest in '84, and it's like, oh, yeah, okay.
Right.
Now it's a whole picture. It's 3D now. You know what I mean? So
yeah. How about his rings?
Oh, yeah.
The other
Hank,
night.
he had 2 big old diamond rings on when he's playing that guitar, and they're just glistening. It looks like laser beams shooting all over the amphitheater down there in Tampa. That was awesome. Awesome. Oh,
That's
yeah.
amazing.
Changed hats. He just turned around, take his hat off, throw it, go pick up another one, put it on. Wore a Lake Martin hat. Well, that was awesome. Shout out back home.
Yeah, that was cool.
Anyway, yeah, that was good. But old Bo Cephas, yeah, I was fired up about that one. Got one here from my old buddy Chad Martin, man. That's one of our longtime podcast fans, and he comes to see us at shows. I'm sure we'll see him at the Freedom Fest in Ohio next month. I'm sure he'll be here or be there. He said, JR, I just heard you contribute the passage to Dr. Charles Stanley on the podcast. How awesome. I listen to him every morning on my ride to work. God bless. Oh, that's awesome, Chad. Yeah. I've talked to a lot of people about that since he passed. That's I watched him this Sunday like I always do. Southern by the Grace of God, another long-time podcast fan. Thanks for writing in as always. She said Tennessee Whiskey, David Allen Coe was the first to record it. So,
Okay. Yep. I thought it was, but
It was on that CD that we all used to listen to. That David Allen Coe CD.
Yeah. Yeah, I think it was like a greatest hits with like 10 songs on it or something. If that ain't country, The Ride, Would You Lay With Me in a Field of Stone,
Mona Lisa Lost Her Smile.
Mona Lisa Lost Her Smile,
If
the
I
one
could
you
think
just
about
said,
it, I'm sure I could
Tennessee
remember.
Whiskey.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yep.
Marcy.
I've still got it on my phone.
Oh, yeah.
Today's episode is sponsored by Bobcat. If you're like me, you don't like to sit still for very long. You look out the window and see possibilities. What if I planted a row of trees over there? It'd be nice to clear that trail in those woods. That's why Bobcat equipment is so great. Its compact size, powerful performance, and big-time versatility will keep up with all your ideas for your property. With a few attachments or implements and a Bobcat tractor, for example, you can do big things in small amounts of time. It's perfect for me when I have a break from touring or recording. Take a look at tractors, utility vehicles, mowers, and more at bobcat.com or pay a visit to your local dealer. Hey, what's up, guys? Justin Moore here. I want to remind everyone out there listening that my wife Kate has an awesome children's clothing boutique in downtown Benton, Arkansas. It's Central Arkansas. So if you're local, come see us at 119 West South Street in downtown historic Benton, Arkansas. Again, that's 119 West South Street in Benton, Arkansas. And if you're not local, we ship everywhere. So you can find us at shopthislittlepiggy.com and see all that we have to offer. All that my wife Kate has to offer, I should say. Facebook, you can find us at Shop This Little Piggy AR, and Instagram, you can find us at Shop This Little Piggy AR. But check us out. It's called This Little Piggy, and see what we got to offer. ShopThisLittlePiggy.com.
Hi, y'all. This is Brandon Bing, singer-songwriter and whiskey maker. You're tuning into the Justin Moore Podcast. Visit EasyLiquor.com to grab your bottle of Bangtail Whiskey and join the Blue Collar Swaller family today. Follow us on all socials at Bangtail Whiskey for more news and updates. Now pour Jigger and take this 8-second ride with us.
Hey, gang. As y'all have heard, the Justin Moore Podcast has recently teamed up with Wrangler. Wrangler has been an icon in authentic American style around the world for more than 70 years. With a rich legacy rooted in the American West, Wrangler commits to offering unmatched quality and timeless design. As y'all have heard me and Justin talk about on here, George Strait and Alan Jackson, they're Wranglers. We wear Wranglers too. Its collections are also for men and women, children, to look and feel great. inspiring those who wear them to be strong and ready for life every day. Wrangler is available in retail stores worldwide, including brand flagship stores in Denver and Dallas, department stores, mass market retailers, specialty shops, Western outfitters, and online. For more information, visit Wrangler.com. And you know you've heard it here, and you've seen it on stage, the Justin Moore podcast. Dang glad to be partnered up with Wrangler because we're big fans and have been for a long, long time. Can't go wrong with a nice pair of Wranglers, y'all. I wear the Wrangler Retro. Justin wears the black one some. It's my go-to. I get mine at Academy. So if you're around an Academy or just about anywhere, you can get you a pair of Wranglers, whether you want to look like George Strait, or you want to look like JM, or you want to look like me. You can get you some Wranglers, and you can do that. Whether you're in North California or South Alabama or Montana, Texas, Ohio, Wyoming, wherever, a pair of Wranglers will get the job done. Long live cowboys and plowboys. For more information, visit Wrangler.com. Marcy Alashowski. Marcy Alashowski. I'm going to say that. I'm sorry if I butchered that. But I appreciate you writing in, Marcy. I am listening to the newest podcast episode. Thank you, Justin. She said, Mom and I went to Joe McIntyre of New Kids on the Block a couple weeks ago at the Showbox in Seattle, and this girl directly in front of me held up a clipboard for him to sign and wouldn't sit down. He told her, I see you, just like JM said. He finally gave in, and he ran up and signed it. She jumped on stage and kissed him. He nicely said, now put the clipboard down. She ran back to her seat and wouldn't put it down again. JM wasn't grumpy at all. I appreciate the time y'all take with Mom and me. We get it. This episode is one of the things that
I don't get it.
We love about y'all. I saw dates in Oregon. Can't wait for you to get up to Washington. Love y'all.
I don't get it. I just don't get it.
He signed it for her.
I don't understand it. The other thing that, and there's nothing you can do about it, but just kind of along those lines, and you know this, but like, so we have microphones. We've probably talked about this. I don't know. Maybe we hadn't. We have mics that are set up on the front of the stage, and then we have some like at front of house, which is kind of the midway point from the front row to the back row, right?
Yeah.
I mean, that's a good way of putting it.
Yeah.
And it picks up crowd noise so that, you know, when we have our in-ears in, it feels like a live show instead of singing in the studio where nobody's talking or anything. You know, it makes it feel like you're playing with amplifiers and, you know, all these, you know. Anyway, I think that makes the point, right?
For sure.
I mean, is that and when certain people who are typically inebriated, I'm guessing, hey, and I'm not judging, been there, done that, got the T-shirt, as JR would say. But they keep screaming the same thing over and over and over and over and over and over and over again. Sometimes it's a song, and it's usually the most random song of all time, like that we've not played maybe ever, or we've played 3 times.
Like the guy at the theater. Like that guy at the theater last.
Yes, that's
ago.
what it made me think of. Because this happened the other night in L.A., and I'm like, I don't know what that guy's saying, but I kind of want to know what that guy's saying because it was the same thing over and over. So, like, you kind of, on stage, you become fixated on that, and you forget all 7,000 other people or whatever. It is so distracting. I don't even know what I think he was saying the name of the song. I want to say he was When I Get Home, I think was what he was saying.
Yeah.
I've never played that song live.
Right.
Not one time. I like the song. Hell, I wrote it.
Right.
I ain't never played that song live ever. But then he just, when I get home. It was like every 5 seconds.
Yeah.
I'm like, good Lord, man. Just try to enjoy the show as it is.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's kind of funny, but it made me think of that because she was talking about the clipboard thing. I don't think we have much of that this week, but But we had the screamers.
Oh yeah,
screaming directly into the mic, the
Oh,
crowd.
yeah.
I mean, it's. But yeah, what was the one you're talking about?
there was a
that
guy
was bad,
somewhere. He was
bad?
right in front. Him and his wife, and they were hammered. and he would
Yes,
not-
the
and it
front
was a
row.
theater.
The
so
front
you could
row.
hear
Yep.
everything in a theater.
Oh my gosh!
And I'm finally like, security's asking me, "Do you want me to do something?" And I'm like, "Well, he ain't really doing." I'm just like, "Just stop! You're ruining it." He's so loud. And I'm like, you're just ruining everybody around you's time.
I don't even remember what he was saying, but
Well, that's like when the whole
but
let's go Brandon, whatever you want to say with that thing.
Yeah,
I'm not.
yeah.
You're never gonna hear me say bad things about our president. It just ain't. So I'm not here for that. I'm not getting on a fence on it. But so I don't mind people saying it. But there was one time when it first started, they were saying the F thing over and over, F word over, like a couple of guys, and it was like, late teenage, early 20s guys, big dudes. And they kept on, and I'm looking around like we got an all-ages show these days. There's like little kids like in that section, and parents and old folks looking at them, and I'm like, guys. So I went down and I went in the crowd and talked to them. I'm like, guys, not that we may or may not agree, but you still can't just sit here and say F word over and over and over at a show with little girls sitting 2 rows in front of you. That's not cool. If that was your kid or your niece, you would not want somebody you don't know just screaming curse words, no matter what the meaning of the words are. It's curse words.
Yeah.
It's going to, everybody,
Yeah, I mean, but as far as that stuff goes, I mean, look, I don't. I'm the least potty mouth person that lives in my house, who's an adult, which means, I don't know. My wife just grew up different.
Louisiana, baby.
I mean, yeah, but I say I cuss. I'm not. Look, it's not trying to be holier than thou,
Right.
by any stretch. Cause
me either. I got a
trust
potty
me.
mouth, but I try when little ears are around to.
Well, that's the thing is, like, I don't want that to be a reflection of me, and then these kids, these parents go, we can't take our kids to a Justin show.
Right.
Because, you know what I mean?
Right,
like,
exactly.
I get, like, I'm not judging, and I'm not coming down on, but that's the way I think nowadays that I'm a parent.
Right.
I guess. Or now that I'm older. I just think differently.
Right. Well, even when we started the podcast, we were talking about, and I was like, what about language stuff? Because, I do have one, and I'm getting better, and I try to do better when I can. But you were like, I just say do it like I do. If it's there and it's natural, don't go out of your way to say a curse word to say a curse word. But if you're talking about something in context and it's not vulgar, then just what's natural, but not kind of thing.
And the other thing, I mean, we both played ball, and locker room talk is a real thing.
Exactly.
I mean, like it or don't like it, it is what it is, and we kind of relate. The way we live on the road now is like a locker room. I mean,
Yep.
in buses together. I mean, and so if you're not cognizant of it, I mean, you can fall into that. And again, whatever, do whatever you want. I mean, obviously, I'm not trying to give you permission or not, but that's kind of at least my thought process is what I'm saying. That I've kind of tamed it down a little bit on stage, because I'm like, I want these parents to be able to bring their kid to my show and feel comfortable and not leave going, ugh.
Exactly.
I don't know.
I mean, I even tell at my security meeting, I tell the house people at every venue, we want everybody to have a good time, but let's don't overserve people to the point where people are wanting to fight and drunk as piss before the show even gets going.
Oh, dude, we've had people stabbed at our shows before.
Yeah, I mean, in crazy stuff. And that's usually when it happens,
some
just from
crazy
over
stuff
drinking.
has happened,
So I'm like, we want
man.
everybody to get home safe, and it's an all ages show. And like when I went out there to the crowd, I wasn't going to kick them out. I was just, a point of all this is, and it goes back to what we're talking about, the lady in the sign. Just be aware of your surroundings some. Just be aware around you. Know if you're holding up. Look who sees behind you and see who you're bothering. Because it could be your grandma. And don't you want your grandma to see the show? Same with if you're sitting there saying curse words real loud. Or even if you're talking to your buddy. If me and you were talking and I'm being loose with my words, and you give me the eyes.
Well, you wouldn't.
And you give me the eyes that there's a kids around. You give me the glance, and I'm like,
Yeah, you wouldn't be speaking like that in front of my kid.
No.
You know what I mean?
So not to. And I'm talking to you, and I'm like, oh.
Yeah, we slip up at times. Obviously, again, their mother worse than me, but you know, I just kind of look at being on stage now like just language wise.
Yeah.
Like if I wouldn't say it in front of my kid, I ain't gonna say it in front of yours.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Well, and two kids are so impressionable. It's like it's the whole Christmas story thing. Where'd you hear that word? You know, and it's like Uncle JR. Oh, you heard Uncle JR say that word. Then everybody's looking at me like, oh, that's how JR talks around y'all. And I'm like, I said it once. I didn't know they were standing behind me.
Yeah. Speaking of, I don't even know if I told you this story. I may have, but and this goes along with that. So I don't know if it was when we were at the beach, because we went to the beach last week, and I think it was while we were down there, and my parents were there as well. And my mom, she likes to say shit a lot.
Yeah.
and so South comes up to me and he goes, "Hey, Dad." I go, "Yeah." He goes, "Can I say oh shit?" I go, "No, you can't, son. No, please don't ever say that." Like, I'm like, "Mom."
Did you ask her where to hear it?
Well, she'll go, "Oh yeah, I like that word." I mean, she cops to it.
But you knew that's where it came from.
Oh, I knew it. Yeah,
it wasn't grumpy because your
100%.
dad, I ain't heard him say but a handful of curse words in 10 years. He's letting them. The older he gets, the more looser they get.
Yeah. I'll give you another good one. So
y'all do not tell everybody in church about Justin's parents.
No. Hopefully my dad ain't listening.
Yeah, right. I don't want to be in trouble for this.
He'll get a kick out of it because we called him out on it. So he wouldn't care for me telling it. So Ella had a tournament in Louisiana. So Kate, me, and all the kids but Klein went to Ella's tournament. And Klein had her district tournament. This is all softball, by the way. The same weekend. So my parents kept Klein, and then they just met us in Florida. And Klein was, you know how she's kind of like, she plays like she's shy.
Yeah.
She's not at all, but, you know, she's like, "Dad," you know, she got this little, you know, poop-eating grin, you know. She's like, "Grumpy." That's what they call my dad, is grumpy. Don't ask me why. It's the weirdest thing I've ever heard, but whatever. That's what they call him. I don't know what happened to Paw.
Yeah.
Or Paul.
Grandfather.
Or but yeah. But anyway, so she goes, "Grumpy said F." I go, "Huh? Do what?" So we had a bad leak at our house, and so we just got it fixed, and my dad and I were doing a bunch of stuff like hanging curtain rods and putting beds together because all this stuff had to be ripped all out and all the floors had to be replaced. You know this, but I'm saying it for the audience. And so we were doing a lot of that kind of stuff. I'm putting a bed together. He's hanging this and whatever. And so he walks in. I'm putting this bed back together. And I'm like, "So, you said F in front of Klein, huh?" He's like, "What?" He jokingly,
right.
He was like, "Well, I know I can't tell her any secrets anymore," or something.
Right.
She's gonna go tattle.
That's
He's like,
funny.
"Yeah, I didn't know you were a tattletale, Klein."
That's funny.
It was funny.
That's funny. Well, we'll use this.
Was 2 kids. So it was 2 kids, and it was both my parents.
Thank God it wasn't JR.
And you're right. My dad don't hardly ever cuss. Ever.
The few times when he would talk like when he says them, I do the whole eyes like a kid. Like, "Oh, grumpy. Ooh, he's upset." you know, or who. I don't want to be. I don't
kinda
want to be
funny.
whoever he's mad at, or whatever the
I
situation.
think somebody had cut him off or something.
Yeah.
You know,
yeah.
on the road or something. One of those kind of deals.
One time,
according to him.
Yeah, I remember one time it was something about a ball. It was a ball game, one of Ella's games back in the day. Something about something the way they did, or a call, or the way they ended it, or didn't do something.
Oh yeah,
he was not happy.
Anyway,
but that'll be our. You know, we do a public service announcement from time to time here on the Justin Moore podcast. That'll be today's public service announcement. Just be aware of your surroundings. If you're walking through the airport, look up. Make sure you're not running into somebody. Make sure you're not backing into somebody. You know, don't hold the sign up if it's blocking somebody. Don't say curse words around children or your parents or grandparents. Just be respectful and be aware. Next one I got here is from Becca Megan. She said, I was so happy to meet both of you in La Crosse, Wisconsin, and can't wait for the next concert. Question for the podcast. Is there a specific place to find the Straight Out of the Country CD? Is it the only CD, only JM CD I don't have? I don't see it on the website. Hashtag Justin Moore Podcast. And I think I can answer this. I don't think we have that. I think that was a digital-only release. I'm sure at some point it will go to CD in a package of some sort when they start putting that stuff out. Maybe a few years, but not right now, Becca, unfortunately. We don't.
I don't. I'm glad you knew the answer because I did not. But if I had to guess,
I remember that
probably
was the
because
specific one we did as a digital-only album.
Probably because it was during COVID. If I had to guess, I don't know that, but that's when that album came out.
Yep, it was in part,
wasn't it?
Sure.
And so that could be the reason. I don't know that.
Well, I've got one more question here, and we'll do this one, and I'm going to save the other ones I had for next week. And what I was going to do is go through all the reviews on iTunes, Apple Music. So if you would, go to the Green Podcast app, go find the Justin Moore Podcast, download, subscribe to that, give us a 5-star review, and put leave a review in there, and I'll read it on next week's. I've got about 6 or 8 already this year of new people that have sent questions or sent us reviews in. So I want to say thank you to all those, and to all of the 982 people who have rated this show. I want to say thank you to each and every one of y'all. So make sure to write a review on there, and I will read it when I do next week's. But we want to get to some show stuff, so for sake of time, I'm not going to do any of those this week, but that'll be next week. But you can always send them in to @JustinColeMoore or @JRTheHandler on Instagram or Twitter. You can also send them to the Justin Moore Podcast Instagram page, @Justin Moore Podcast on Instagram. Let me make sure I get this number right. I usually have it right here in front of me, but I don't right now. But the newest, coolest, easiest way to get any information to and from us or our team, JM directly, me, anyone, is the Justin Moore text line. And that number is 501-200-4050. That's 501-200-4050. You can text there, use hashtag meet and greet, album, anything you need to know there. That's a good way to go find it and do stuff there. So do that as well. But all those, and I'll keep compiling the Q&A for next week. The last one I got today is for our buddy Christian Day, who has moved over to Tennessee now. I know, hadn't talked to him in a while. But he is a singer-songwriter. Was in the Memphis area, I believe. Christian writes, "Hey, JR, hope all is well Memorial Weekend. Hope y'all's Memorial Weekend is going well. I sent this into the text chat, but figured I'd send it to you directly. Take it easy, boys. So I'm sitting in CP between the lakes in Mount Juliet, Tennessee, and there is a painting of Charlie right where we are sitting. It got me thinking, what would he be if he wasn't an artist? You can't say greatest preacher of all time. What do you think he would be?" I was just thinking about that, and that's a good question because it's like, alternative egos. Because I've heard them ask you all through the years, what would you do if you weren't into music? You usually say something to do with sports, coaching or training or teaching or something along those lines. But wouldn't that be neat to, how they do, and I see it on Instagram, they'll take players and swap different teams. What if this guy was drafted instead of this one? What would they look like in this jersey? Or, what if Jordan would have looked in a Lakers jersey and, Bird in a – or Magic in a Celtics jersey? What would these people look like? What would – this would be kind of fun thing. What would people do if they weren't – and we'll start with Charlie, but that'd be neat to know. What do you think people would do if they hadn't ended up taking the career path?
First of all, he was as articulate as bright, as talented as anybody I've ever met. Plus, he had just a incredible heart, and just outlook on life and relationship with God. I mean, there's
Work ethic. I mean,
so many reasons to look up to him. Yeah. So he could have probably done anything he wanted to do. I don't know, man. He would have been a great motivational speaker. I know that's somewhat related maybe to, I think he said preacher. I don't know. What
I'm
do
like
you
you.
think?
I don't know. He'd have been the best one there was at it if he was. If he, I mean, he grew up in tobacco country, so if he ended up running a tobacco mill or something, I'm sure he'd have been the favorite foreman of anybody at the tobacco mill, and probably would have rallied them together to do. I mean, who knows? Or I mean, you'd like to think he would have been He was a big Louis L'Amour fan, so he loved westerns. You'd love to think maybe he would have wrote, but I don't. But that's a whole other talent.
He would have been a great actor, which he probably did some of.
Yeah.
A great author, which he did some of, obviously.
But you got to think.
I don't know. It's hard to see him.
Probably a rancher. He loved horses. Wouldn't surprise me to see him ending up on a ranch somewhere.
It's easy to put him into a ton of different roles, but I'm pretty sure the role he had was the one God had intended for him. He was so incredible.
Yeah.
As an entertainer and songwriter, and so
no
it's
doubt.
hard and difficult to see him in
right
some other capacity.
What about for fun? Thanks for that, Christian. Yeah, hit us up anytime.
Or
buddy.
hard and easy, I should say.
Keep them coming, Christian, for sure. Christian Day, everybody. We were just talking about Bo Cephas. What could you imagine Bo Cephas like being a car salesman?
Good night. He would just bully you into buying whatever he wanted you to buy. I am a Williams.
My daddy made these cars. Well, I mean, what if Hank would have been a baseball player or a football player? Can you imagine Hank playing for the Raiders, him and Stabler on the same team?
Or I'm just thinking, like, what if he was a coach?
What if he was like a Bill Dance? What if he was early on fisherman on television? He would have been so outrageous, Jimmy Houston type guy.
Here's a good one. I think he would have been a good soldier.
Oh yeah.
Oh,
that's
all the knowledge
Charlie too.
he
You
has.
think Charlie would have been a great general?
Oh yeah.
Oh man.
Yeah. I don't know.
Weird to
I'm
think
thinking
stuff
of all
like
the,
that,
Yeah, it is.
Or what if Hank would have totally not? What if after Hank fell off the mountain, he would have said he didn't want to do country anymore, and he went straight into like disco? You know what I mean?
That'd be funny.
Would that be something?
And he would have been damn good at it.
He'd have been good disco. I'd probably be better than most of that crap they were playing.
Yeah. He would have been a good rancher, too. He loves it out west, you know.
He likes riding around. I mean, who knows? All the videos we ever see, he's just riding around.
Yeah. On a horse or in a 80s model square
I'm
body
going to go over
Chevy.
here while Dean and Buck and Dick and them finish fixing this.
Mm-hmm.
I love it.
Yeah, he's
But
so
yeah, who
ridiculous.
knows? I mean, and then you think about like
it's an interesting thought, though.
yeah, just on a lot of them, And then some that we kind of know what they kind of did it like take our buddy, and I was just talking to him earlier on text. Everybody out there, go shoot Colt an Instagram message or Facebook or Twitter or something like that to our brother Colt Ford. He's had some health stuff lately, but he's gonna pull through, and he'd love to hear from y'all for sure. But I was thinking about that. Somebody like Colt. Colt was a professional golfer. He made enough money to survive playing golf. And
can still play.
Yeah, right. Probably still could. He'd probably still go hustle and make good.
I mean,
change.
he's good.
Yeah,
really good.
But then he wanted to do something else, and he basically helped create Hip Hop. You know what I mean? And just a whole other thing because he wanted to go the music route. He always loved music, but but then
I mean, he did. He created a genre.
Yeah, he created.
I mean,
a genre.
who did it before him? I don't know
really
of anybody.
I mean, not really. He helped. He was on the forefathers of that for sure. Still can't get the love he deserves. You're talking about underappreciated artists right there. That's Colt
he
Ford,
deserves.
man. Ain't nobody
yeah,
in Nashville got a bad
better.
thing to say about Colt. He's done something for everybody who's doing something, and I just love him.
Great,
like I said, I want
great
everybody to
guy
give him a
too.
shout out and tell him y'all can't wait to see him back out on the road. He'll be back. He don't miss no shows. but he's had the eye problem, and then he was in the hospital last week, but he's all right.
I didn't know that.
But anyway, I was thinking about that. Some are, and then some go into stuff later. Think about ones that start as an artist, and then the first one comes to mind is Jimmy Dean. Jimmy Dean quit playing music.
Oh,
he could sell so much damn sausage, he'd have to play no more music.
He may be the smartest one that's ever done it. He ain't got to be on the road no more. And I say got to be. We love playing shows, but traveling is obviously we all know is tough.
Well, you can do as
when
little
you do
as
it
much
as frequently as we do. But there ain't no telling how much he made off sausage. Still, family's still making it. I still buy it.
Yeah, right. It's got to be at minimal hundreds of millions of dollars a year.
I wonder what that deal was
they
like.
sold that part of the company to.
Yeah, I wonder what that deal looked like. What did he get just
had to be stupid.
A minor percentage or
of everything that's ever sold for your likeness and this and that, and probably here's a $50 million and here's you get a piece forever or something.
Yeah, I don't know. I'd be curious to know though.
And then I tell people a lot, about one of the smartest ones that I thought when it comes to being smart with your money, as far as artist over the years, was Ray Stevens. They call him the Streak. Ray Stevens, instead of buying mansions and cars and diamond rings, Ray Stevenson bought Music Row. He bought all them buildings down there. He owns the buildings.
I didn't know that.
Oh yeah, Ray Stevens back in the day when he first started making good money. I guess it would have been late 70s, early 80s. He started buying those buildings. Everybody leases from Ray Stevens Properties. That's Ray Stevens' business.
I had no idea.
Or was. I don't want to speak out of turn. I'm sure y'all can look all this up. But that's a thing. He bought a bunch of property.
Another one that was really brilliant about all that was Toby.
Toby Keith.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's another one. Keep Toby in y'all's prayers, y'all. He's still got a stomach cancer deal.
Yeah. But he was really smart with all that stuff.
We talked about that the other week. We were talking about the shows we had played at the Toby Keith's. I Love This Bar and Grill. They were all over the country there for a minute.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it was huge.
Plus, all the horse racing. Horses and
Triple
stuff.
Crown horses and all that stuff.
Yeah.
Wild stuff. Well, anyway, thanks everybody for the questions and comment. Y'all send them in. Use the hashtag Justin Moore Podcast. Since we last talked to everyone, we've done several shows. We had a good time on the road. I know we were leaving that week. We went out to Grand Prairie and played a show. That was fun with Priscilla and Cagle. Good to see him always. Chris Cagle's still out there rocking y'all. Eli Young Band. Yeah. It was a hometown show for them, so we didn't get to hang out. They had all their family with them. Then we went to Austin for the iHeart Country Music Festival, which was really cool. We only did 2 or 3 songs, but no, we did 4 or 5, I guess. But there's a lot of artists on there. Good to catch up with a bunch of buddies backstage. It was for television. I don't know exactly how it came out or when it's coming out or all that stuff, but I'm sure you can find it somewhere.
Yeah, I don't know.
But it was the iHeart Country Music Festival. Golly, I can't even remember who all was on the show with us that day. I know Parker was there, and Priscilla did the song with you, and Kane, and
Luke, Brian, Kane.
Luke was there. Sam, because I saw John Worthington.
I didn't see him.
Just a bunch of folks.
Yeah, there was a
ton of folks. So that was cool, and I thought that's what we'll name this podcast this week. I Heart Emoji, so we don't use their likeness, country, because Just and I both do love country, everything about the country life, country music, country everything. So I Heart Emoji Country with the name of this episode. But thanks to the I Heart folks. They were great. I know you got to catch up with some of the execs that you hadn't seen in a while, and people from radio all over the country and other reps and stuff. So that was fun to get to go do that.
Yeah, it was good. It was good, man. It was, and it's been a few years since I've done that. Maybe 5-6 years since we did that show, and they make a big deal out of it, and great crowd, and gave me a little bit of the heebie-jeebies because we were at the home of the Texas Longhorns basketball program.
Yeah, tell them about sound check when you walked in.
Yeah, so I did sound check, and
which is a shocker, no pun intended, shocker.
Yeah, every seat back had Yeah, exactly. Every seat back had the Longhorn logo on it, which Arkansas and Texas hate each other because they were rivals for a long time.
And we don't love them down here either.
I was just like, gross.
They're black
This is
seats
disgusting.
with the
Ugh.
orange. It's like tennis. It's like if
Gross.
somebody. It's like Tennessee's orange with just a little dingier, and
Yeah, it
had
just
them on each seat.
looks
I was the
dirty.
same way. I
It
was
just
like,
looks terrible.
I was doing the look thing, like look around, just don't make eye contact with any of the signage while I'm in here.
So
Nice building,
I
though.
tried to blind myself.
Nice little
It was a
building where
cute-
they play basketball.
It was a cute little arena.
Where they
It
play
would,
basketball.
it would fit inside ours maybe 2-3 times, but whatever. If that whatever floats your boat.
I love it.
We got some Longhorn fans on here probably going, "What an a-hole, man!"
Hey, they get it. Hey, welcome
That's
to
what-
the
that's
welcome
what-
to the SEC.
that's what's
Longhorn
great about
Nation.
sports,
Welcome to
though.
the SEC.
Yep.
We don't take it no easy
So-
on this end either. It's all if you're in,
Yep.
baby, you got to get full on,
Yep.
full tilt boogie in.
Jump
baby.
in with both feet.
Yeah, this ain't no part time
But-
something over here. We take our sports
Yeah.
serious down here in Dixie.
Yeah, hey, but speaking of both of our baseball teams, this is my favorite time of year.
yeah.
NCAA tournament, getting ready to be cranked up. You guys are hosting in Tuscaloosa for the regional. I didn't see who was in y'all's regional. We're hosting in Fayetteville, and a record 8 SEC schools are hosting
Wow.
this week. Previous record was 7, which they've done a number of times,
Yeah.
but never have they done 8.
Yeah.
So eight of the, I believe there's 16 host sites. 8 of them
Half.
SEC.
half for SEC of
Yeah.
everybody else.
Yeah.
And ACC is pretty good at baseball. I know Wake Forest is probably number
and
one right now.
The
huh?
Pac-12 usually is
Yeah.
really good.
And I got to say, the Sun Belt, my Troy Trojans, they're in. I was on a text thread the other day.
Oh, good.
I don't remember the thing. They're in, and I think 4 or 5 Sun Belt teams are in different regionals this
Wow.
year. And because he was saying, watch it,
That's a lot.
Really, if you look at it, Troy's is right there with the big conferences as far as that, But you got to think Sun
Yeah.
Belt's right here in that same little SEC strip of ball
Right.
players and,
Yeah.
and climate, where we play a lot of ball all year long. But
Yeah.
but yeah.
So anyway,
that's awesome. Yeah, and we'll update more on that in the next episode too, as the tournament goes on. And I know you get excited, and I kind of that way too, because I love baseball. It's like anything else, so much going on. I don't get time to watch games. I mean, I remember growing up watching a Braves game, and soon it was over watching a Cubs game back to back and stuff. I just
Yep.
don't have time. I don't play golf either, but I love it when playoffs ramp up. I don't even know how hockey works, but when playoffs are having for hockey, I'll watch hockey.
Yeah.
I like hockey playoffs. It's exciting, and baseball's the same way. And basketball, we had some really good playoffs so far. Some first time people knocking off and first time goings, and
that's the way I am with NBA. I if I catch a game flipping through, during the season, I'll stop and watch
Right.
it. I don't seek it out, but for the playoffs, like I've watched a lot of these playoffs this year, and I don't know. You and I talked about it a little bit, but I don't see anybody beating
Denver.
Denver. But I just don't see how Miami's got enough to beat them.
Denver
I mean,
is just
Miami's good,
but Denver
but-
is just
and
they're solid. Unless
Denver,
somebody gets
man,
hurt, if Joker goes down the first play,
Yeah,
it happened that last
I
game
mean-
7 in Boston. It was tied 3-3, and Jason Tatum rolls his ankle first play of the game
Yep.
and was 75% at best from then on. I mean, that's
Yeah.
that hurts. But then Miami's over there. Their second leading scorer, Tyler Hero, hadn't played the whole playoffs.
Yeah. They may get him back though. They said
Oh, really?
maybe. I don't know. I don't know what the likelihood is, but I don't know, man. That combination of you and I have talked about it. Heard me rave about Jamal Murray. God, that dude is just a flat out baller, man.
Yeah.
I mean, Joker, obviously. I mean, he's gonna have ridiculous numbers, and look. I mean, just looks like he's just so uncoordinated
Slow,
and not athletic
can't
at
jump.
all, and he just will dominate your ass. I mean, just crazy.
Yeah.
But yeah, him and Murray together, man. they're
Yeah, and then
I
Aaron
don't
Gordon
know if it was a
Porter.
first round or maybe second round. I don't know. I was when I kind of started watching, and I kind of thought to myself at that time, I'm like, man, they're going to be tough to beat, and here they are, the favorites. I'm assuming they're the
gotta
favorites.
be, yeah.
I haven't looked, but at the odds, but I'm kind of pulling for them too because they've never been to the finals.
Yep.
You know.
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm kind of pulling for them.
Me too. And a couple of I've had several players over the years that played for the Nuggets that were some of my favorite players. Obviously, like we played on 2K. And Antonio McDyess played there for a long time, and I was a big fan of his. Chris Jackson, Mahmoud Abdul
played for LSU.
LSU. I mean, that guy could play. He still plays. We watch him in the 3-on-3 thing. That somebody still tear you up.
Yeah.
And then recently, Tyler Lydon, my buddy from Syracuse that I'm still buddies with, he played at Denver, for a while. And buddies with the equipment manager, that kind of stuff. So I've always had little ties with the Nuggets, and for that as well, they've never been to the finals, never won. It's first time.
It's kind of cool to see
cool.
that, for that fan base, and I don't know. I always have a good time when we're in Denver.
Oh yeah,
too.
Me too.
And
Yeah, I love
good
it out
people
there.
And it's
Sharice and I
beautiful.
honeymooned in Colorado. Rented a car in Denver and just drove around for a week or two. Hell, I had a blast.
Yeah.
But
yep.
you got to think that they're just. I mean, it's just going to be tough. I mean, they're a solid all the way around team.
And Joker just hit shots that you're like, I don't even know how he got that off
over another tall
much
guy.
Much less made it.
That jumped, and he didn't jump. How did he get it off?
No, and he'll be off balance shooting a
the
NBA
wrong foot.
three.
He's like a huge Luka.
Like off 1 foot. Like I don't even get it. Like I don't even.
And in the NBA, like most sports, when you have these teams put together, you got a short window to win your championship, or that window will pass and you won't win one. So I hope they.
Yeah, he is a little bit. He is a little bit like Luka.
He's like a huge Luka.
Yeah,
because Luka's the same way.
Yeah, kind of slow, kind of
don't really jump, but gets it done.
Yeah, they
pass
almost
like a mofo.
It's almost like they shoot set shots.
I think it's that Euro League training. You got to think too. I always think about maybe. Joker. He doesn't look that strong. He's not all muscled up or anything. But you got to think he probably wrestled bears and wolves and crap when he was growing up.
Yeah, right. Yeah,
he grew chopping wood for heat.
Yeah.
A little different. Than AAU ball. But anyway,
crazy.
But anyway, so we'll update on sports as go, and then I mean probably another episode or two from here, we're going to start talking about college football, y'all. And we both love some college football, so y'all get ready for that. Back to shows though. Yeah, we had the week off. That's when I went and saw Hank down in Tampa on my mom's birthday on the 19th. And then we went out to California. Yep, we sure did. We went out to Winter Haven, California, out near Yuma, Arizona. Did a show out there. Casino. Had a good time. Appreciate them having us. Had a real good time the next day in Scottsdale, Arizona at the Talking Stick. Played a big outdoor pool party show out there. Just had a great time out there that day. Then we had a day off, laid low. You played some golf. I know Cody and Gary and Tucker and Brett and all y'all played some golf and stuff. I got to catch up on some work, a little sleep, but then we had a drive out to where you were mentioned earlier, where we had some of the crowd noise stuff to Pomona, California, and played the LA County Fair, which we've played a few times over the years, and had didn't disappoint this time like last. A big, huge crowd, a lot of fun. Ashley McBride was on the bill with us, and man, let me tell you, she can sing, and her band
phenomenal.
Is good.
I mean, that was the first time I think that I've seen her live, I believe.
Well, we watched her do a few songs when she was out playing with us several years ago, but it was a different band then. She only had one or two people from her band now. And a bunch more songs, too, obviously.
They were great. I mean, great. I would encourage anybody out there who she's coming close, and she don't need my approval, but go see her if you can. Great show. She sings her tail off. Like you said, the band was awesome.
Songs were good.
I was highly impressed.
Yeah.
Yeah. She almost kind of reminds me of I was trying to think while I was standing there watching her side stage, a little bit of I don't know, a female Dwight, a little bit
Yeah.
mixed with oh my gosh, now I'm gonna blank, a little Melissa Etheridge-ish, maybe. Doesn't she play guitar a lot
Yeah.
too?
Yeah.
A
little Bonnie
I don't
Raitt-ish.
know, little Bonnie Raitt-ish, yeah.
Yep.
Maybe Sheryl Crow, but tougher sounding.
Yeah. That's what I was going to say. She's got great
I don't know. It's hard.
swag.
It's kind of hard to.
Her voice
It's kind
just.
of hard to explain.
She has
but
great. It's just a great provide. I mean,
yeah,
just
great tone.
tone.
She
like I said, her band
great
was really
pitch.
good.
I mean, she didn't even come close to missing a note.
No.
I mean, it was phenomenal. I was highly impressed.
Yeah. So y'all go check out fellow Arkansan Miss Ashley McBride on the road. I went and checked out her merch too. I'm pissed that Johnny didn't get me one of her black tour shirts like he got himself. I'm losing my status around here. But then, yeah, we flew home on Memorial Day. Happy Memorial Day to everyone. All of our service men and women who
Yes, thank
lost
you,
their
thank
lives.
you, thank you, thank you.
Keeping our country free and our world a safer place.
Did you? So you had a long layover when we split up, and I had a longer one than I thought. I went, posted up, and went to sleep.
Did you?
Yeah,
I sat at my gate
Set
for like
my
an hour
alarm.
and then realized they had moved my gate to another terminal. So then I start freaking out. So I get over there and then I'm good. And,
yeah. I just went and got me some food, ate, and went and used my backpack. Just went to
Had
sleep.
your neck
I didn't-
pillow.
and yeah, there wasn't nobody there when at the gate because I was so early, you know. And then I wake up and people are everywhere, and I'm like, I probably look like just a
ridiculous.
like homeless or something.
People walking by.
you know?
Hey, y'all, I think that's Justin
Like,
Moore. I don't know. It kind of looks
yeah,
homeless.
this dude's just like because you know how we do. I'm just stretched out.
Oh, yeah.
Like I'm probably snoring. I mean, I don't know.
Laying
It was
on my shoulder,
ridiculous.
like you were laid on my shoulder on that flight, the first flight.
Yeah. I can. Yeah, you know how sometimes when you're so tired, you almost don't even know where you are. You don't. You know. I don't know. 3 or 4 times I did it. I think that I remember. I find myself like sleeping on JR's shoulder, like. I'm like, sorry, man. I don't know
was
why
like,
I
"Shit,
keep
get
doing
comfortable.
this.
I'm good. And then on my next flight, though, a girl kind of did this, not on my shoulder, but her head facing up with her feet up in her seat. She kind of looked like you, kind of trying to get. She was so tired, you could tell, because I remember the flight
Right.
attendant even asked her, "Are you okay, ma'am?" Because she looked a little flustered. She's like, "Yeah, I'm just had a long day. I'm just ready to get home, tired."
Right.
And then she was trying to sleep too. And them seats, it don't make a shit. It don't recline near
No.
enough. There ain't no way.
It don't matter how little you are either, because
Uh-uh.
I'm small. I'm
Yeah.
a small guy, obviously.
It don't matter.
It don't make us crap. It's just not comfortable.
The best thing you can
They're
do,
hard,
like I said, is try
hard
to
as
wedge
a rock.
yourself in.
I mean,
It's like I try to wedge in somewhere and just try to get to where I don't fall and wake myself. Just get somewhere where you're still and hope you can pass out.
yeah.
And my second
ridiculous.
flight, we went to leave, and I guess there was a little weather, so we sat on the runway for about 45 minutes before we could take off.
Right.
But I landed back in Destin at about a little after 7:30. I got home by
Oh yeah,
9:30.
you had to drive after. Ugh.
Oh yeah. It was all good. I fell asleep a little bit on the second flight. It was good. I was glad to be home, though. You know,
I'm sure.
home
Yeah,
just
I
time to
think I
cut
got home
grass and
about-
pull weeds all day yesterday. You know.
Yeah, I think I got home about 6:45, something like that.
But then today we're doing this podcast. You did Zoom interviews. See it on our calendar now.
I got to leave tonight.
Yes, you got to go down
Are
to
you
Florida
leaving
and sing
tonight?
some vocals for some upcoming stuff that may end up out as on an album one day. And then we've got a
and
show
our-
Friday. I want to
our-
talk
our
about
next,
this for sure.
Our next single may just be from a new album.
Oh, really?
Little tidbit there. I don't know that, but being discussed.
It's so weird how that works now
So-
too, because it doesn't necessarily even have to be a single, because you go find all the stuff everywhere and play it, and they're on playlists and stuff.
Yeah.
So I don't know how
Single
long
to
that's even gonna
radio,
be.
I guess You know.
Yeah, just
what
a
I-
country radio, yeah, because then there's all the digital radio channels like the highway that don't necessarily play, different ones.
Right.
But we've got a show Friday, and I'm actually leaving tomorrow to go on over there, so I'll be in your area. In Panama City, Florida, playing Gulf Coast Jam, which we've played this a few times over the years, and we've had a blast the last time.
I think we were with FGL last time we played there, if I'm not mistaken.
Was that what it was? I know Chase was there.
This time it's with Miranda. Maybe it was with Miranda.
Yeah.
Hell, I don't remember. I don't know. I can't remember.
Yeah, this year we're with Miranda. And I know earlier that day, Shane Prophet's on the same night we are. Warren Zeider's the same night we are. But Shane texted me he's going to be there the night before. He's going to be down there early. Won't know if we were coming in town any early. And then my buddy, I'm wearing his hat. Check it out. John Boy Story, Phoenix City, Alabama's finest singer-songwriter. He's actually opening the whole festival tomorrow afternoon. He called me earlier today when I was at the grocery store. I caught it with John Boy, and he's going to be there early. I don't think I'm going to get down there in time to catch his set because I got to do some stuff here. But he's kicking off the whole thing tomorrow. It's Gulf Coast Jam in Panama City, Florida. Y'all go check that out. Lots of good artists.
It's a fun festival, yeah.
Yeah, I
it's
know.
It's a big, huge.
I think the night after us is Chesney,
vacationing or what?
Somebody, and tomorrow
it's just this like giant park for those who may be in the area vacationing, or I don't know if there's still tickets available or what. But it's fun. It's a good.
Oh
festival.
yeah, I'm sure. Yeah, it's a big festival. Yeah, and it's fun, and it's not far from the beach. It's not on the beach, but it's a big park right off the beach. I'm trying to think who's the first. Oh, it's Hardy. Playing tomorrow night, John Boy, and then a couple of acts, and then Hardy. But they do early, I guess, because it's a weekday. I think he goes on at like 8 o'clock is the headliner on that, just a kickoff kind of party thing. And then the next night, it's kind of normal. I think we go on at like 8:30 or 9, and then Miranda goes on at like 10:15, something like that. So y'all come see it, and then the next night, like I said, Chesney, and then I think Kane Brown's the headliner the last night or somebody like that. So if you're in the Panama City, Florida area, anywhere in the Panhandle, want to come see some country music, y'all come on. I know my wife and I are going to be there, and Roger's bringing his wife, and Stefan and Erica are coming, and Nathan's coming down a day early. So Justin's going to be in Destin recording some music. So we'll all be down in the Panhandle. Y'all come see us. Then next week we've got Atmore, Alabama, right up the road from me on Saturday, the 10th of June. That's the Wind Creek Casino up in Atmore. It'll be another outdoor show. We did that a few years ago. It was really fun. I'm out of tickets, so nobody hit me up.
Is that the really fun
we'll do that
one,
on the
really
10th.
good one we did?
Yeah.
When everybody was riding four-wheelers and all that?
No. That was a field party thing. That was
okay.
The Oaks. It was near Auburn. This is a casino gig, but they do it outside of the casino. It's south of Montgomery, between Montgomery and Mobile. God, my mom got hammered there last time she came. I don't think she's coming this time.
Oh, I seem to remember that.
You remember that one. And then we'll come home for
Was
a day
that
or two.
Give Me That Baby?
Yeah. That was about that same era for sure. Yeah. It was right about the time South was born. My mom, give me the baby. I want to hold that baby.
Give me that baby. I want to hold that baby. I was like, yes, ma'am.
Don't you know
here, take him.
Don't you know she spoils the crap out of Aiden now? She's got one of her own.
I'm sure.
You know it?
I'm sure. She's still spoiling you. So.
Oh, yeah. We watched a movie last night, and Sharice goes, hell, that's you and your mom. Oh, it was the last episode of Ted Lasso. Sharice goes, hell, that's your mom. It's you and your mom.
That's funny.
Ted Lasso. If anybody hadn't watched Ted Lasso, this last season, you can tell they're kind of stretching for stuff.
I haven't seen this season yet. I hadn't started it, but I need to.
Yeah, I love Roy Kent. Roy Kent's one of my favorite characters in a TV show of all time. Right there with Ron Swanson, and I mean a bunch, but he's there.
So good, man.
But then we're going to come home for a day or two. Then I actually just booked a flight. I'm going to come up to your house on Wednesday the 14th because we're going to fly to New York City on the 15th. We got to be there bright and early on the morning of the 16th for a Fox and Friends live recording. So y'all make sure to come see us there, or come see us. Hell, tune in to Fox and Friends, June 16th. Be on that morning. I don't know all the particulars on that. I'm sure Cody will get some graphics up on Instagram pages.
I think Riley's going to be with us.
Yep, Riley Green's going to come sing the
I think we may
the
do
other
a
duet off the album.
May do a sit down. I don't know that, but that's at least what's been floated.
Yeah, and then I know there's a couple of other little press things we're going to do that day, but we've got to get out of there. And again, you can go to justinmooremusic.com or check the Instagram pages, and we'll have info on how you can get links to that and when it's going to come out if you can watch it live and stuff. But we've got to get out of town that afternoon. We got to jump on a flight. Band and crew are going to fly to Chicago and jump on their buses. Me and you are going to fly to St. Louis and jump on or Kansas City and jump on your bus. And we've got to go to Mason City, Iowa. We've got a show there June 17th. Just talking with the promoter this morning about that. Excited about going there. Y'all come see us. Then the 18th of June is Father's Day. Just want to put that on everybody's radar. We'll leave a few days after that. We've got a show in Sarnia, Ontario, Canada on the 22nd. That's Border Fest. That should be fun. Y'all come see us. If for all our people above in the Great North up there, y'all come see us in Sarnia if you're in that area. Next night, we're going to be in Jackson, Michigan, the 23rd of June. Mount Gilead, Ohio, the 24th. Freedom Fest. We were talking about that earlier. And at the end of the month, we start our annual stand at Bottle and Cork in Dewey Beach, Delaware, on the 29th and 30th of June. And then we've got more shows after that. So y'all check justinmooremusic.com to the tour page. You can see all those dates. You can get links to buy tickets, all that fun stuff. Meet and greets, all that stuff. You can go through the Justin Moore text line. But yeah, that's where we're going to be over the next few months. And if you're in the area, come see us. Like I said, you can go to the website and check the tickets and all that fun stuff. But come see us at a live show. Come to meet and greet if we're having them in those cities. And hope to see you there sooner than later.
Yeah.
I know.
Yeah, for sure.
I know you've got a lot to do. Today's Wednesday. Y'all got church tonight. But I'm sure y'all all resting up for ball games. Y'all got ball the rest of the week for you. Oh, you're going to leave tonight, so you're going to have to miss ball games tomorrow, huh?
Yeah, I'll miss. So Ellen Kennedy's league team played their last game last night. We were undefeated, so we're league champs. Undefeated. Played a team we've beat 3 times. They beat us by 1 run in the last inning, so we don't go undefeated. We lose 1 game this year because of it, but they deserved it. They outplayed us. They hit the ball, we didn't. But then South's got his district tournament this week, and Klein's done. So outside of Ella with her tournament travel team, we're done with softball for the year.
Wow.
So I think Ella's got maybe 1 or 2 more tournaments, and then we'll take a little bit of time off, and she'll probably play fall ball. But they've started practicing junior high basketball, so I had to go get her yesterday from that. But she's got a strained quad muscle right now. So
I was going to ask about that.
She's kind of
Is she going to take any time off to try to heal that?
Well, so the tournament I talked about us going to Louisiana and playing, she did it then. Kind of re-aggravated it then. And she didn't play in the field the last three games of that particular tournament just because she couldn't move. She still hit for some reason. And she hit well, but she couldn't really run bases. I mean, like, she was just kind of dragging her leg around. But she hit for such good contact. I guess they wanted her moving runners over and stuff. And so hopefully she was okay the other night. She played for us. I guess it was last night. She played. But, I mean, she's not 100%. She's probably 70% or something. But I popped a hamstring one time, but I've never hurt my quad, so I don't even, but she's like, Dad, it hurts. So she's having to hit left-handed because she can't really plant on her her right leg hitting right-handed. So, but thankfully she's a switch hitter, so she can. So.
Well, yeah, and being young like that, I mean, they just being able to bounce back. But yeah, that's one I never had that one either. I had a lot of dinged up injuries. Luckily, I didn't have any major ones. But
I had stitches more than anything. I had stitches like 8 times.
Definitely had stitches.
I broke my wrist once, but outside of she's broken her wrist twice, same wrist. I guess that's her first injury that really kind of held her out, outside the broken wrist.
Yeah. Well, hopefully they'll finish strong and get them some trophies and rings and all that fun stuff for the years out. And, y'all get to enjoy a little summertime before you crank back up. When do they start?
Yeah.
When do the little boys start football around there?
I don't know. That's a good question.
What age?
I need to find out. So I've never. Sorry, my internet seems to be slowing down for some reason. I don't know because I've when I was growing up, we didn't have football. Because we just didn't have enough people. They didn't get it here until. Here, meaning our town, until, I don't know, 10, 12 years ago, I guess. And so now it's become a big deal because, we've had it for a decade. But so I didn't grow up playing. I only played baseball and basketball. And obviously South's our first boy. Ella played junior high or 7th grade football a couple of years ago. But that was just one season, so I don't really know. I need to find that out. I don't know if it's. I have no idea. I really have no idea.
I mean, because we played little. I can help him with that because I played from. 6. I think we started playing.
Right, and see, he'll be 6
little.
next month. In less than 2 weeks.
I mean, it was kind of like them in baseballs before you even really know what you're doing. You're just kind of out there running into each other, really.
Right.
There'll be one or two there'll be one or two kids that parents are passionate about it, and they'll be way better than the rest. But everybody else just running around, helmet on backwards, shoulder pads upside down.
Right.
Funny.
Yeah. No, I'm kind of excited about it because I've never got to experience it as a player or, a parent. So it'll be fun, and he, him, man. He's rowdy and rambunctious, so it'll be good for him to go.
Oh yeah,
hit somebody other than his sister.
Right. I can tell you all this. Get ready, because if you think you forget some socks and stuff in a baseball bag and it smells bad, you mess around and leave your football. Pads and socks and stuff and your football pants in a bag and let them sit for a couple of days or sit for a week till you play another game. Woo,
Forget about it.
I can still remember the locker room smell. The football locker room is just different, buddy. Woo. Brutal.
I can't.
That'll be fun.
Imagine.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to it too. That'll be mine. I know more about that than the other. And, so that'll be fun. And hell, I've liked playing with the girls. This is fun watching them over the years. They can. I mean, Ken can play now. You know what I mean? It's like, on the big goal, I don't have to lower it down and stuff. It's awesome.
Yeah. And she's really kind of more. Ella likes softball much more. Basketball, she can take it or leave it. She's like, whatever. She plays because her friends play, and she'll get to play some this year. And she's good, but they've got a lot of good players that are older than her. But Kennedy is the opposite. She'd rather play basketball, and she can take or leave softball. She's like, whatever. And Klein, she's probably split. She likes them both pretty well. And then, of course, this is South's first year to play baseball. He kind of got him and Klein both kind of got screwed with the pandemic. They missed some years in both sports. But he's done really good, man. He's and I haven't really fooled with him much because he's really never been interested. So I was so hard on Ella. Like, all right, we got to go hit a bucket of balls. We get right side, left side, just because I was so excited to have a kid playing and coaching, and that I said I'm never going to push that hard again. That was too much. She's really good because of it, but I thought that was kind of cringy looking back on it. I mean, she wanted to do it, but at the same time, I was pushing too.
Right.
And so I haven't done that with. Yeah, and I haven't really done that with him or any of the other girls really, and so for him to have done as well this year as he has is kind of shocking. Like, so because they're pitching machine from like 35 feet at 36 miles an hour, I think. And you know him; he's a young 6U player, and I'd say he knocks the pee out of it. I don't know, 2/3 of the time. I mean,
nice.
So I guess he's got pretty good hand-eye coordination.
Yeah. Well, watching, it's monkey see, monkey do too. He watched you do it with them, and watched his sisters play the whole time, and all his older buddies and his cousins and everybody else. But we'll back to that too. Well, Ella turned out great, and she kept her schoolwork up, and she's a good kid and kept her out of trouble. So whatever you got to do those two, hey, it worked.
Yep.
So we'll wrap that up for today. Like I said, everybody use the hashtag Justin Moore Podcast. Send us in some questions and comments. We appreciate you all. Y'all go to justinmooremusic.com and look at our tour schedule. Come see us at a show soon. Go to the text line, 501-240-50. You can use that text line to get information or send in anything you need there. I'm at JR the Handler on Twitter and Instagram, jrthehandler.com. That's at Justin Cole Moore, Instagram, Twitter. We'll see y'all here in a couple weeks. Y'all be safe out there, and happy summertime blues.
See y'all. Thanks for tuning in.
See you guys.
This episode was brought to you by Bobcat. Check them out at bobcat.com.
For any of you first-time listeners out there, at the end of each of our episodes, I like to do a little reading out of a book I've had that I've got a lot of use out of over the years. The book is by Mr. Charlie Daniels. And the book is called Let's All Make the Day Count, The Everyday Wisdom of Charlie Daniels. Set in your ways. There's a time for everything and a season for every activity under the heavens. Ecclesiastes 3:1. It took me many years to realize that I am resistant to change, not when it comes to any number of things that are beneficial to our society, but in my personal life. I hate breaking into a new pair of boots. So I'll wear an old pair until they become so dilapidated they have to be thrown away. I just despise it when I have to go do an upgrade on my phone or computer. The location of apps get moved around, and at least to me, things seems to hide on the home page. I feel like I need a road map, or more realistically, a visit from my son to get back up to speed again. I don't care about what model of vehicle or how many miles it has on it. I am happy with it until it starts causing me trouble and it's necessary to make a trade. It always seems that the completely redesign the car, or in my case, pickup or SUV, since the last time I've had a new one. The dash has changed, and all the controls, windshield wiper, speed control, interior lighting, and even the rear or the gear shift have changed locations and appearances. It has to be learned all over again, which, to me at least, is very irritating. Why can't they just leave them alone? Most of the folks who work in my band, crew, office, and ranch have been around for decades. Just the thought of making changes there is painful, but occasionally, due to health, family, or some other reasons, one of my musicians or another type of employee has to leave. But every personnel change has worked out for the best. I've almost always been able to find a replacement that perfectly fits the job. So even old school, set in my ways me must admit that change can be good. Come to think of it, I'm always writing new songs and learning new fiddle licks and going new places, but I still don't like wearing new boots. Making sure before you make a change is smart, but being sure and still not making a change is foolish. Let's all make the day count.